Hello my friends, it's Danny, and today I am showing you how to make an easy, healthy breakfast recipe straight from the Clean and Delicious cookbook. I'm going to show you my stovetop granola, which is a very simple, very delicious, very nutritious breakfast option. Now, unlike traditional granolas, which are slow cooked in the oven and often take hours to make and can be very high in sugar, this is a low sugar granola recipe that cooks in just 10 minutes right in a saute pan on your stovetop. So this is a great one to add to your weekend meal prep so you have an easy, healthy, delicious breakfast idea for a busy week. That is delightful. Now the recipe I'm showing you today makes 10 half-cup servings, and I like to make a big portion of it because it does store really well. I just keep it right in an airtight container and it will happily last in a cool, dry place for up to 3 months. But if you don't want to make such a large portion, you could easily scale this recipe down. Just cut the recipe in half or even in quarters. And while there's not a lot of prep to do for this recipe, I do like to get everything ready ahead of time because it does cook quickly and you want to be by the stove while it's cooking. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure out 2 cups of good old-fashioned rolled oats. I do not recommend steel cut or quick cooked oats for this recipe. You really want to use good old-fashioned rolled oats. And remember, if you want to ensure that your oats are gluten-free, make sure that whatever brand of oatmeal you buy has this little gluten-free emblem on the front of the package. Then I need 2/3 of a cup of chopped nuts. You can use any type of nut you love or that you have on hand. Personally, I'm going to do a combination of walnuts and almonds. I love the crunch and the texture that these add to the granola. Plus, we're going to get some good healthy fats as well. And then the only other ingredient I like to prep before heading over to the stove is chopping up some dried fruits. You're going to need 1/3 of a cup of dried chopped up fruit. I'm going to go with dried apricots and some dried cranberries, but any type of dried fruit you have on hand or you love would work. Dried cherries, dried mango, prunes, dates, raisins, they would all be delicious. I just like to give them a rough chop ahead of time. This way I don't have to use as much and I can sprinkle these little bits throughout the granola and get those sweet bites without adding an excess of extra sugars. Once I have everything prepped, then I'm going to get a nice large saute pan, heat it up over a medium-low heat, and to that I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. You could also use butter here if that is preferred, and then once the oil is melted, into the pan goes my rolled oats along with the chopped nuts. So we have the walnuts and the almonds. I'm also going to add some cinnamon for a warm, cozy flavor, a nice fat pinch of sea salt, and then 3 tablespoons of maple syrup, which is going to add a nice natural sweetness to the granola without the need for any refined sugars. If you like your granola sweeter, you always have the option to add a few extra tablespoons in. It is personal preference, but for me, 3 tablespoons is perfect. Then I'm just going to gently toss all of these ingredients together, get them really well incorporated, and let this slowly toast on the stovetop for the next 8 to 10 minutes. Now, I do like to hang out at the stove while it's cooking because every 30 to 60 seconds, I'm just going to move the ingredients around the pan and rotate them so they all get evenly toasted. And then what you're going to notice is as the time passes, the oats and the nuts are going to start to become lightly golden brown, and they're going to start to be nice and fragrant. So just like when you're baking, when everything starts to smell really delicious and you want to like take a bite out of the air in your kitchen because it smells so good, that is a great indication that everything is just about done. And how you're really going to know that your granola is done is that not only is it going to be golden brown, but you're going to hear it start to get toasty in the pan. So once everything has arrived, I'm going to turn the heat off, and then I'm going to finish this by stirring in my dried fruit. Remember, we have the chopped up apricots and the cranberries, along with 1/3 of a cup of unsweetened shredded coconut. I love the shredded coconut because again, it adds this like natural hint of sweetness without adding a lot of excess sugar. But if you wanted a little bit more sweet in your granola, you could also toss in some chocolate chips, some peanut butter chips, or if you wanted to be really crazy or maybe make this fun for your kids, you could throw in a handful of something like peanut M&Ms. But if you're gonna add in something like that, you wanna make sure that the granola has cooled completely. Otherwise, all of those chocolatey bits are gonna melt as soon as they hit that warm granola. Now, to store the granola, once it's completely cooled, I like to just spoon it into some mason jars. jars. You could do this in big jars, little jars, whichever you prefer, but the granola keeps really well like this, and when stored in a cool, dry place, it will happily last up to 3 months. Now, there are so many ways to enjoy this quick-cooked stovetop granola, but personally, one of my favorites is to sprinkle some over a bowl of plain Greek yogurt, add some chopped up apples or whatever fruit you have on hand, and then finish it with a drizzle of nut butter. It's so simple, but it is so delicious, and it's truly a 1-minute breakfast idea that's a great balance of protein, carbohydrates, and healthy fat. And this is exactly the type of meal that I find keeps me fueled and satiated until lunchtime. That is delightful. So I'm super excited for you to give this recipe a try, and I'm also really curious to know what are some of your favorite go-to super quick and simple healthy breakfast ideas. Come on down to the comment section below and share. This way we can all continue to inspire one another. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Danny Swees, and I'll see you back here next time with some more clean and deliciousness. Cheers. It's crunchy, a little bit sweet, a little bit salty. So good.